All right, guys. So did a Twitter poll and for a coin to look at, and Bitcoin won. And I promised I would give the members a better look, deeper look than I did on Twitter in the 2 minutes that I can do there. And you guys deserve that since I never look at Bitcoin. And you're probably not going to get another look from me at Bitcoin for a while because I don't trade it, and the whole world looks at it. You know, Quan's making charts, Hope's making charts, Sam's making charts, Monty's making charts, Dave's making charts when he feels like doing crypto, climbs out of his little FX hole, and they're great charts. And, I don't feel like if all those guys are giving you stuff, I have much to add. But some of you want my big dumb opinions. So here you go. You're going to get it, and you're going to get a good look at it. So what I have here, I have my pitchforks off the chart. Let me add some stuff on. But the way I'm looking at it is there's 3 pitchforks in this price action that we've had that I find to be valuable. We have this larger shift pitchfork from this pivot, and this pivot. And I've added a 6.618 fib parallel onto this chart because I add the parallels onto the forks as they are useful, as I react to them. So we've reacted here, and I've also added this warning line, this outside 2 parallel. And as you see, we had a false breakout on that parallel, and then where was our next destination right after that? Boom, right to the 1 parallel on this fork. And this could be expected. This is very tradable if you're a pitchfork trader. This is why they're so important. You need to look for stuff like this and realize, oh, hey, I got this breakout, and come back in. If you were on the ball here, and not even Elliott Wise, same thing, but even just pitchforks. Of course, you don't need, you could use your Elliott and your pitchfork for confluence would make you even more happy to enter this trade when you broke back in. But, that's neither here nor there. It's important, and I think that it will continue to play a level of importance on the way down. I could probably add the 50 fork on the 2.5 there. Let's see, add that thing in there. And, oops, not 2.5, 1.5. Yeah, so I'd say that's quite relevant as well. And I think this will continue to be relevant on the way down. This is what I love the modified forks for. The shift and the modified shift is containing moves on a longer term basis. Regular forks can do that as well, but I find the modifiers great for that. So that's what I'm doing here. So judging just off this fork, leaving the Elliott wave count out of this for now, we've come down and tested this 618 and rejected and come up and found strength. So, I would think the next move down, just based on this larger fork, not taking this fork into account, which I think played a big role here, maybe you'll find maybe your next support area, if this dumps out, will be in here, according to that, where you could trade at smaller degree moves. So keep in mind. 2 other forks that I think are important, and I'll just get this off for clarity's sake, is this fork here. I think these pivots are pretty valid for this move up. You'll notice we never made the median. So what's Andrew's 4th principle? That will come back down to at least equal the move up towards the median. And we could do that and still go up. This could be a 1-2. I don't see that as viable. I don't see that as probable. I think that the market is a bear market, so I'm not calling an end to over a year of price. I'm just not doing that. I'm not calling the bottom. Maybe one day I will. I hope not, because that try to call bottoms to tops, you look stupid. I don't care how good you are at what you're doing, whatever your TA flavor is. Anyway, so we have this fork here that tells me that we have more resolution on the downward side. To at least satisfy Andrew's 4th principle. So we'll go ahead and delete that one off. Now, this fork here is a little bit funkier, but we've shown quite a bit of love to this median. So I think that and look at this outer parallel, obviously. So I think its role in this whole thing is far from over. So I would look for, reactions within here. And you can trade based on those if you'd like, depending on what size trades what degrees you want to trade. But I think this fork is also important. But for now, we'll go ahead and get him off this chart too. So I imagine everybody's got this count. I don't know. But so we have an impulse up here. I have it as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm sure that that would be open to interpretation. But at the end of the day, if you remember my extended waves training video, if you haven't seen that, go check it out. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 waves with one overlap. It's an impulse with an extension. It's just obvious. I don't care what the subwave count is at that point. That is beautiful to me. So off of that, we have this contracting. This, price is not expanding, price is contracting. This funky count, which when I first made it, I had one count, and then I actually changed it a little bit, and now I changed it again. But it doesn't matter. It's not that important. I now have it as a WXYXZ, just because it looks the cleanest to me. 1 second, excuse me. Sorry about that. Allergy season. Anyway, I think that I have it as that. I have this as a clear corrective move. We come down, we hit the 786 to a T just about, and this is obviously corrective to me. Look at all these overlaps. I mean, you can count it any way you want. I think that this is the count, but if you got something else, more power to you. Now, what's interesting coming out of that is we had I would imagine in Bitcoin, everybody was thinking the same thing. I haven't been looking at Bitcoin, and of course I was sick around this time, so I missed out on all that fun. But I imagine everyone was looking for another wave up after this. This was like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or something like that. But it's starting to look, it looks now, especially with this overlap here, that this is a completed impulse. And if that's the case, you have no clear extension, which doesn't happen that much, but it can happen. Third is the longest wave, and then 1 and 5 are pretty similar in length. So it's a pretty solid impulse. I have no qualms calling this an impulse, and I think it's complete. So I believe now this is a completed A, B, and C. I could be wrong. Maybe we go up more, but it's looking to me like this is an ABC complete. And some things that back that up are, in a C wave, you would expect to see divergence, right? As I just did that divergence video yesterday, right? Well, this is your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So price is making higher highs, oscillators making lower highs, divergence. And then where else do you expect to see it? In a fifth wave. So this is the fifth wave here. So this is the 3 high, it's 5 high, more divergence. So quite important. So I do think that it's over, and this could be an impulse down here. Let's take a look at it. I actually haven't looked at any of this yet. So I've had a couple schools of thought just looking at this price, that this could be an impulse here, and then we could be in some sort of corrective here, meaning that this is the orthodox end of the impulse, and this is like a B wave of some sort. Let's see, put some fibs on here we like. We got back up to 382 there. Or it's just that this is the orthodox end. Not sure which one I like just looking at this. 1, 2, I mean, it's hard to count this. That looks like a 3, and that looks like a 3. That looks like a 3. Yeah, I think that this would be the orthodox end of the impulse. And that we're in some sideways shit here, which means, what is usually, what is a sign that you're going to get an extended wave? A sideways, a flat or sideways move, right? So we're getting a sideways move. So this wave, next wave down could be something fierce. I could be wrong. But that's sort of what I'm thinking. And, trade ideas right now are, my bias is short, and this is not giving me any pause to that. So I'm thinking we're in some sideways, and I don't think that we'll necessarily get up here. And this jives with what I'm doing on EOS right now. On my EOS trade, I've entered in EOS short now, and I am looking for a retrace of a smaller degree move. And if I get stopped out, then I'll move my entries up to the typical retrace area. But I'm sensing market weakness all over everything I'm looking at. So let's look out at the macro view. So if our bias is down, how what can we expect? And as you saw from the Twitter video, I did that click. you know, I've got this macro count, W, X, and then working on Y. Where's Y going to end? So another thing that I really wanted to show you guys is that there is hidden bearish divergence on this degree. And what did I tell you from that video that I showed you? Where hidden bearish divergence shows a continuation of, it's a continuation sign signal, right? So what's the continuation of? Downward move. So price makes a lower high here, oscillator makes a higher high. You know, it's not strong signals. So I have some support zones. These are just price support areas that price has found support and shown significance in the past. And if you look, it happens to line up where some major Fibonacci levels are inside of these zones. This is the 382 of the W length, because the 100 of the W would be in the negative, right? And so would the 618. Well, when that's the case, what are the probabilities for a W to Y? Highest probability is a 1-to-1. The next highest probability is a 618 Y to W. And then after that, it's a 382 Y to W. So, you know, the two highest probabilities are out, right? They're gone. You can't do that. Or we're going to zero. Of course, we could go to zero, but regardless, there's nothing below zero. So those two counts are out. So this is the next most probable, 382. And people have asked me why I have that before when I've shown this chart, and I just wanted to explain it a little bit. So that 382 on the Coinbase chart is at 1296. So that's a potential landing area anywhere within this zone. And then, so I like to defer to the lower degree count for projections. I find it to be a little bit more better at projecting, you know, as opposed to using this W. I would use this A to line up with the C, as opposed to trying to find that W to the Y. So looking at that, what is our likely ending spots? Well, we've got the 618. The 1-to-1's way down here, but 618's first, and this also happens to be in this zone. We have the 886, or roughly the 90% retrace of all, you know, from zero in this zone here. And crypto loves its 90% retraces. And then the 618 is at the lower side of that, right about 1900, just under 2K. This could be a potential good zone. You know, I like all three of these areas. So this could happen, and you know, we're going to be impulsing down. Who knows how long it's going to take? But it's not going to happen tomorrow. But in my mind, this will end the correction. I could be wrong. We could go up for an X and back down for another Z. But you know, I'm thinking not. Could be wrong. Not, like I said, not calling any bottoms, at least now. So also, if we look at the price action off the 2015 low, I have this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with an extended fifth. So what do we know about extended fifths, right? Well, we know that extended fifths find support typically in the area of wave 2 of the extended wave. So that gives you credit to this count. It feels low, but man, this whole move down, when I've ever been, you know, projecting out, and I see probabilities that end me up lower than what feels like it could get to, we usually end up going lower than that. So, you know, I kind of would say that this is the front runner, to be honest with you, for area to end below 1,000, maybe down to around 500. But you know, I would say second would be in this area, and then I would call this the third place. Just, you know, and I'm not sure. These are all likely areas it could land. We're going to have to really look at the subwave count coming down. But in the meantime, as traders, what does this mean? It means that we have a continuation of trend coming, and we have plenty of downward trades to make. If you're trading with the trend, you're short. So that's my take on Bitcoin, guys. Probably doesn't make a lot of bulls happy, but that's just what I'm looking at. So I don't think the bear market's over. It could be over, you know, summertime, fall, who knows? But I don't think we're that close to being over yet. That's my look at Bitcoin. Good to have the perspective. I'm glad that I have caught up with the big pop-up. So thanks for voting on that, guys. Toot signing out.